We're live. We're live.
Hello.
Yay!
We're back. We're back. We're back. We snuck
Oh
in
my Lord. We
during the
snuck
week.
in and we have a full panel tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Come
You have
on.
arrived at Arise and Shine. I am going to go ahead and make sure that we have some company in the room and share this out. But Benicia, why don't you start off and introduce, at least we have two Jades and a special guest in the house. So you can, yes, you can start wherever you want.
Well, we want to start by saying thank you for joining us on this special edition. We know we generally will see you guys on Saturday, but we are at Thursday and we're excited because we are doing a 2020 graduate edition. And I have my mini me on the set today. So it's really special to me. But I also have a very good friend of mine, Jade Morris, who is an amazing young lady. She has recently graduated with her master's from LSU in business administration. Come on. She has a bachelor's degree in sociology. She is a senior digital marketing specialist. She is a makeup artist, a hair artist. She has an online Christian t-shirt business. The real question is, what doesn't she do? And
I
she
know.
also taught Zumba or teaches Zumba. Jay, you can correct me on, well, right now I don't think nobody's doing Zumba, not in the gym anyways, but she is a woman that wears many coats, many hats. She's amazing, and we're so happy to have her grace the podcast on today. So without further ado, we have Jade Morris. Thank you for joining us, Jade.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, so excited. Tanya,
yeah, we're super excited to have you. Yes, I'm going to introduce the beautiful Jade Tucker, and I will put some names under them. Hi, Leoline is saying hello to everybody.
Hello.
I will put the names under in a little bit, but Jade Tucker is, where do I start, Jade? I'm so incredibly proud of this young lady. Like you say, your mini me. She's not my mini me, but she's my mini God baby, right? She is a recent graduate from UT Austin, and she is top. Well, you graduated with honors, darling. Didn't you graduate with honors? You did so well. She got in on, I think she set a record for scholarships. How many scholarships did you end up getting?
Enough to pay for housing my freshman year.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
And to study abroad twice. Yeah.
Let's go.
You went overseas. I want you to talk about that a little bit. I want you to talk about the degree that you pursued and what your plans are going forward. I'm just so excited to have you on the show and for you to share everything. I am not looking at a bio. I'm sitting here as a proud auntie. I'm being transparent, y'all. I'm excited that she graduated and that she got into UT Austin. Both of you got into some pretty amazing schools, and my little new niece over there, she got into an awesome school too.
Yes.
So you know what, Benicia? Let's dig in with them. Let's just jump right in because 2020 has been real special. So with school getting pretty much shut down for a quick minute till they figured out how to do this virtual thing, they didn't know how they were going to handle school. Can you guys talk to us individually about what actually went down when this COVID happened that adjusted your whole year?
Yeah.
Jade, one of you can go first.
Jade,
Jade, you want to go?
Do you want to start us off?
Which Jade?
Okay, Jade Tucker.
Right. Oh, okay. So first I graduated with my major in international relations and global studies with a minor in social work. For me, for UT Austin, it was supposed to be a temporary thing. They didn't actually expect it to go for the entire semester to be online. It was supposed to be, school was supposed to be delayed an additional week. So basically 2 weeks of spring break, and then we're supposed to be going on campus for the rest. But that didn't happen, obviously. So from there, it was just mostly online classes. But I had professors who emailed a week in advance, were like, hey, most of our stuff is already online. We actually prepared for it to be online before spring break started, because my professors, some of them were very wise in age, but not very wise in technology. So they were adjusting. And there was others that were kind of like, we're not going to be as like hard on you on as far as grades, as far as assignments, because we know that y'all are going to try to work while doing online classes and also have like, you know, family emergencies and responsibilities at home. So it was a more of an easier understanding transition, but we did get an additional spring break. So I guess that's a good thing.
That's awesome. Adjusting. We're going to talk about that even at a deeper level, the adjustments that you guys really had to go through in this season. Jade Morris, what about you? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, I think my experience was a little different only because I was already online. The only requirement that I was looking forward to in anticipation was going to campus to finish out, my dissertation and doing my last couple weeks of internship and different things like that to finish out graduation and then being there for graduation. Doing an online program can be, especially as a working adult, can be pretty tedious. You are not there. You don't get to meet your professors as you would in person or even your classmates. So those last 3 weeks are, something you look forward to and hope to meet those people you've been in groups with, meet your professors, walk across that stage, and then bring your family with you. So I think my workload actually increased a little bit, knowing that I was already online and they knew that, we can handle it. Don't worry, give it to them and they'll get it done. And but also taking away that excitement of being there, being able to do a photo shoot, being able to experience the campus like we wanted to. So like, Jade already said, it was an adjustment. It was something that, you take the good with the bad and happy with the sad, and you work it out and figure it out. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's so good. The good, the bad, the sad, we want to talk about that, like the emotions of, the disappointment and how you guys were able to actually push through that and find something positive. And so what I love is we have 2 college grads and then we have a high school grad who graduated from Hopewell High School, and she also graduated with honors, but she, like both Jades, have a different scenario. And so I'm going to let you speak to how the last, several months have been for you.
It was definitely, I would say, different than college, just because when you're in high school, you're going to the building every day. So first half, you go to the building, you see your friends, but definitely transitioning online was a huge hit, not only for me, but I know for hundreds of other graduates. Just being with your friends every day, mostly your senior year, honestly, you're not doing too much anyway. But when you are doing it, my teachers all pretty much did it online. So, but the surroundings of it. So you might be doing classwork online, but you're around friends. You switch classes, you have football games, you have everything. So you have all your social aspects. But definitely when COVID came, it put a huge dent in us, because not only did we not be able to have those social events anymore, so like prom was canceled, graduation was canceled, and all that. But definitely I would say that it did make us a lot stronger, because not only did we have to do that work ethic so we actually could graduate, but also it made us become stronger in friendships, because we had to keep that communication between each other.
So good. And can I dig just a little deeper with you? So can we talk about your experience for high school in general was a little different from the normal experience, right? So this was your first year actually being able to attend?
Being able to attend. So early on in my high school, experience, I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, which caused a really big issue because I had a lot of immune deficiencies. I couldn't, walk for actually 3-4 months because of the issue. So most of my high school experience, I actually was online. I was taught by a tutor that came to my home, but definitely I didn't have that average high school experience that most people had. So, most of the time you go through high school with all your friends. You meet them freshman year and you go through senior year. That wasn't my case. I jumped in and out of school. Gratefully, I had my senior year, which I could go all year. For the first freshman, sophomore, junior year, I was in and out. I would be there a couple months. I would be home a couple months just because of the scenario of what my body had to deal with. And it was definitely difficult because high school is those years that you look forward to. Those are the years that, are your last big ones before you're off by yourself. So definitely it was a struggle, but just leading up to those years that I was homeschooled, it definitely did help with the COVID transition because to me, it wasn't as much as a difficult transition for other high schoolers just because I was online for quite a while. But yeah, it was definitely interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So
did anybody else? Yeah, that's huge. Anybody else have challenges? Because that in itself, I mean, having health issues on top of everything else. I know for me personally, first you have your own health issue, then the globe has a health issue, and then the school has to deal with the world's health issues. So that's a lot to go through, and then say I have homework. Right. I need to feed my husband. The dog. That's a lot, guys. So did anybody else have things going on that kind of made things more difficult than it should have been? No, easy peasy.
So wait, I want to talk to Jade Morris because we had a conversation and it was something that stuck with me, and it's something that I've been replaying over the last couple of days. So Jade, can you talk a little bit about getting married because you recently, got married?
I know, right?
While you were in school. And so you were telling me about, I think it was your bachelorette cruise, if I'm not mistaken, and how you had homework. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because, what it taught me is that you do have to do what you have to do. And you're not always going to be in the perfect situation, but you have to learn how to press through. So tell us a little bit about that.
I think when you just asked that question, did anyone else go through anything normal? I'm like, well, what's normal, right? In the 2 years that I've been in school, I have been planning a wedding, going through a wedding, and getting married. And so God has a sixth sense of humor, and he just loves to test your limits. And I actually had to take my midterm on a cruise during my bachelorette party. So I had to send them all out of the room, and literally in the middle of the 5 days that we were there, I sit down, buckle down, make sure that I passed this final. And it was an accounting final in finance.
Oh, not that.
Oh my, that is not my strong suit.
So I completed that, and then God said, let me test you a little further. And the day before my wedding, I took a final exam. So when everyone was out and we had our engagement, our rehearsal dinner, everyone's enjoying themselves, celebrating, and I'm just, okay, I gotta make sure I'm doing that, exciting things in my head. And it's like one of my last classes, and I'm like, okay, I got this, I can do this. And I'm back, and all my bridesmaids are in the room putting fans together, and I'm in the bathroom, literally in the bathroom, sitting in the shower, taking my final.
Wow. Wow.
What a picture that paints.
Yes, because no one literally can be in the room with you, so no one can even pass by you. So I had to literally lock myself in the bathroom, in the shower. And I tell you, it's resilience. It is, no matter what, I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to make sure that it gets done. we think of these things in our head, how our bachelorette party is supposed to be, how our wedding is supposed to be, how our graduation, prom, all of these things are supposed to be. And sometimes we have to tweak it. Sometimes, you know, I couldn't have that extra glass of champagne at my engagement dinner, or I couldn't go out that morning and drink on the beach for my bachelorette party. It just wasn't what my story entailed. So I think, you know, what is normal, I mean, but
I love that you said that. That's great, because what's normal for
normal.
one is not for another.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I got a call too from a young lady. I believe she was calling me from Singapore or something like that, talking about her internship and how it wasn't going how she planned it to go. Oh yeah, you.
Exactly.
I would love for you to share that challenge, Jade, and how it worked out for you, because you're on the other side of that now with a degree in your hand. But I know one time when we talked, you were like, I don't know this.
Yeah. Well,
So
first,
how did
Jade,
you pull through that?
congratulations.
thank
That's
you
that's
so
exactly.
much.
That's a bunch of memories. That's the way that I look at bad experiences. Is like it's just mistakes and memories, and I will laugh about it probably like years from now. I'll like cry full of like joy now, so like crying full of like pain. But yeah, like I when I did my internship in Singapore, was let alone, I said God is also very funny, because the day before the deposit was due, like the entire program, I talked to my mom. I was like, if I can't get it paid fully, I can't go. And so I even talked to God. I was like, God, if this is what you want me to do, if this is what I'm supposed to do, then let it happen. If not, it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't in my wasn't in my plans. And then the morning of that deposit date deadline, I got an email from the program coordinator. And she was like, you know what? I got your emails, and we have enough funds to completely pay for your entire fee for your program. So I was like, okay, I got this now. Like, let's see what this internship is supposed to be. I didn't know. I was already in Singapore. I landed, and I still didn't have an internship. And I've been constantly emailing with this person for over a month. So I was the only one in my group, only Black person in my group with no internship, no type of like experience for what I wanted to go into. And so I was just thrown in a position. It wasn't what I was going for. I constantly did the same thing for about 2 months straight. And so when I had that phone call, I was like, you know, what was the point of me being here if I can't, you know, be productive, if I can't share these experiences or grow these like new skills? Like I feel like I was just an intern that's just there just to be there. And so I was kind of like, well, what was the point of me going with this major? And it was kind of like that point in your life where you just question everything. Like nothing falls in your hands, nothing falls the way it's supposed to be, nothing lines up. And so though the internship didn't quite go as planned, it wasn't related to my major, but I learned more about myself, and I learned about who I can and cannot work with and what type of atmosphere. And it was something I've never thought about it when I was in high school, something I never thought about throughout my college experience. So for that to be like a self-check kind of thing, both spiritually and mentally, was also kind of like you need to know what you can do and what are your abilities and how far you're able to be pushed. So it definitely was not the best call for you, TT, but it was a wake-up call for me.
Yeah.
I know you learned so much from it. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I know Mom already dug in a little bit, Tasia, but I wanted to come back to you because, you know, people, you say Lyme disease and people don't get it. And it's almost like it gets dismissed as to how intense of a diagnosis that really is. For you to overcome that, home and at school, and excel and complete your heights. I mean, I just want to say kudos to you. I'm so very, very proud of you. You know, yes, as a person that has walked through chronic illness, there are days when you really just feel like you can't hope, and you know, you can't do anything, and you just call out to God to help you get through. And I know you've had some days like that. So I really just want to salute you and say, please Can you share with us one of those times when you came out on the other side, like it was a tough day, but you had responsibilities and you had things to do?
For sure. One time that just comes to my mind is so when you do online school, you have a certain criteria of how much you have to do a day. With Lyme disease, you could be in bed for all day if you could, because of the pains, the aches, and all of that. And I remember one day I just wanted to give up. I was like, who knows if I'll be here, honestly, and who knows if I'll even make it to graduation, if I'll make it to the next year. At one point, I didn't even know if I was going to make it to the next week. And I just remember sitting there and just crying my eyes out because I couldn't understand, first of all, why me? And second of all, how am I supposed to push through this at 16, 15? Like, I'm just now getting to the point in my life where I'm setting a foundation somewhat for myself. So it was definitely hard. And I remember just sitting there crying, and I just felt like a warmth over me. And I just knew from that it was God because of those hard times that I had. And from then on that day, I just knew I had to push. So I would be up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning pushing through doing homework because I was like, even though I have this situation, I'm not going to let it stop me from doing what I need to do. Yes, is it difficult? Yes, is it hard to get through? But that doesn't mean I'm just going to sit here and soak in it and not do what I have to do, because that's not going to help anybody in any shape or form. Like you said, Lyme disease is dismissed a lot as an illness just because it's not researched enough. It's not like when most people think, well, first, when I was first diagnosed, everyone thought it was contagious and no one wanted to be around me. Everyone didn't understand the fact of it. We didn't even understand the fact of it. Honestly, when she diagnosed me, we were like, never heard of that.
Right? like the fruit? Like you can get a disease from?
Yeah, like no one.
The fruit? Oh my God, Benicia. Oh my God, the fruit.
No, literally, I did think it was based off of like a lime fruit. I was like, I don't even eat limes, but no, it was definitely difficult because no one understood. And when you're in high school, those are times you're making friends. So if your parent thinks you're contagious, no one's going to come around you. Yeah. No one's going to want to come around you. No one's going to be with you. I had a lot of times where people thought I was faking it because unlike, for example, cancer, you could see it on somebody. You could see, them being sick, maybe them losing their hair and stuff like that. But Lyme disease, you look normal on the outside. It's an internal thing, so you definitely don't see it. So a lot of people just dismissed it. But I can definitely say coming out of it that I have been an advocate for other people. I definitely have learned more about myself. It's definitely grounded me to be more determined, more resilient in everything that I do, and making sure that I just push through, and whatever I can do it if I did it through this.
That's awesome. Yes, I agree, Jade. That's definitely applause. I know, right? She's so strong, and I think the college experience is going to be even that much more awesome because of
absolutely
what she's walked through. Yeah. What's some of the things that you enjoyed the most about your college experience, Jade, that as a bachelor in college pursuing that degree, which the two things you selected blew my mind. But anyway, talk to us about that developmental, yet just what is she getting ready for? Because then the other Jade can tell her, Lord of mercy, if you're going to pursue, she can help you with your next step.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me, the best thing that someone told me, college is nothing like high school. Like it's absolutely like if you have, let's say if you had like the perfect high school experience, maybe college is going to be better. And if you had not the best, college is going to make you stronger. So everybody has their own journey. And I do believe some people, they learn more about themselves in high school, but I think college is where you are still kind of like in the limbo phase, what I call. So you're still independent, but as long as you still have that support at home, you're still not fully an adult. And there's a beauty to it. I absolutely loved it. I wasn't as social in high school for me. I was going through several things. So for college, going to a city I never been that I remember, I didn't know anyone in the city. I had a roommate that I met through Facebook and was praying to God that she wasn't going to kill me and that she wasn't going to stalk me. That was like the whole goal. But it ended up being just a blessing in disguise. I've met so many people. Like, I have a friend who's from Nigeria. I have a friend who's from London. I able to connect with them that I think I was so scared because I didn't have the best high school experience that I thought that's how college was going to be. And the fact that when you get to that point where you realize, all right, my high school it's in the past and my college is my new chapter, you're gonna love it. You're gonna make so many mistakes. Like with TT said, like my major, no one knew what it is. I didn't even know what it was. I just thought it sounded fancy. Like, international. I knew I needed to do something abroad related and needed to know some language, but I had no clue. And that's the beauty of college, is that you don't need to go and have a plan. You need to just try different classes. And I met actually one of my closest friends through a class, and now like she's graduated and we're still connected. And so even I maybe have a couple of friends in high school, but they're not as strong of a relationship. I'll say that. They're not as strong as a relationship that I have in college. Because, I can't go home when I'm going through some rush. My roommate has seen me cry, has seen me get angry, has seen me in my pettiness. I will admit I was petty in college. She's seen it all, and she still decided to be my roommate for 3 years. So college is it's an amazing experience. You're going to have ups and downs, but it's going to shape you who you are. And I can tell you're already strong. So then college is only going to make you stronger. It's going to only make you have a better support system than you already have. So don't worry about it, hon. You're going to love it. Just take cautious risk. I'll say that. Take very cautious risk, but take all the opportunities, love. Yeah. You have it all.
That was so well put. So well put. And so realistic, right? So you didn't paint this picture like, oh, you're just gonna, sail off and college is gonna be amazing and your classes are gonna be easy and you don't know, like real life is gonna happen, but in the midst of real life, like you said, you will learn lessons that will continue to stretch you. And God allowed you to experience something that you didn't have in high school. So there are going to be different plans and experiences and things that await. And even now this next season of your life, the same exact thing, because that's the type of God that we serve. And so, Jade Morris, I want to ask you, being a wife, an entrepreneur, going to school, being in ministry, having women empowered events, which I've been a part of. You had an amazing vision statement event, just writing your vision, making it plain. It was amazing. So please tell us, and your little doggy, how do you juggle everything?
Yeah, I think, God places the right people in your life in order to help you to fulfill your purpose. And so I thank God for my husband. I think, I've always been this young lady that always kind of dance to the beat of her own drum and come home and tell my parents, I want to do this. And they're like, girl. But through God, I've always made things work or figured things out. And I was just missing this one piece. And that was support. And, you have your parents, you have your friends, but that person that you tell your truest, deepest passions and your desires and your hopes and your dreams, and they say, all right, so what can I do to help? And you're like, you gonna do that with me? Like,
wow.
I received that.
That was what really helped me to really take off. And so my mind frame was, okay, I got to do this and then do this and then do this. Not, okay, I can do these 3 things and I can make sure that I am making time for myself while still, sticking to a schedule and still being able to dabble in different things. And he's never been the type to, pressure me to say, well, you're doing this, but why not this? Or you're doing this, but why not us? We make time for each other. We make time for God. We put him first. And so being able to juggle all of the things that that pull me in different directions has been manageable. I won't say easy, because it's many sleepless nights, hitting deadlines, but I think that has really helped me to be able to say, I have someone in my corner that really truly supports me. really sees my vision. And when he doesn't, he prays for me, and he knows that, well, I don't know what you're doing, but I know God's got you. So I'm gonna let him, take the wheel from here.
Yeah. So
the
good.
faith.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be the consistent theme with the three of you. Me and Benicia, we ride on the faith trolley every day.
Listen.
But it's one of the reasons why we wanted to have this platform and definitely have you guys join us, because each of your stories speak to an extraordinary faith. I mean, whether they're things that you've shared here or not, you can just tell from what you have shared already that you walked through some stuff and you've decided to keep moving.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear, because we brought up the word of things that, you're going to be doing later, but you pursued your master's, right? You just got your master's, Jade. And I think that, Jade, you're about to pursue or thinking about what to do next. You're walking down the road of exploration a little bit, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you get to that decision, Jade? How does it fit in your master's with because you're a woman of vision, right? How did that fit in? Was it a strategy to do that, to go that route?
Yeah, I always have had this thought in the back of my mind that you always have to go above and beyond what the foundation your parents have laid. And so anyone that knows my mom and dad knows, well, at least my mom has many masters. I was like, well, ma'am, you're gonna take this one. But I remember being a kid and saying, I'm gonna have my doctorate degree by 30. I'm going to be retired by 45, and I'm going to be off and traveling. I'm 28 and I just got my master's. So you can kind of see where that timeline is. But I think just going back to faith, I had to continue to pray to God because I was trying to pursue other things. I had started out right out of college, taking classes in psychology. And I'll be transparent. I sat in one of my classes for 3 weeks, and then it finally clicked what the whole class was about. And I'm like, girl, you should not be here. Like, it's 3 weeks. What cognitive thinking is? This doesn't make any sense. And God said, well, if you would have asked, I would have told you that's not in my plan for you. I was just had this timeline. I knew what I was supposed to be doing. And he's like, well, you're not seeking me. You're not asking. You're not putting me first. So you can go ahead and try what you want, spend your money, and then I'll be here when you're ready.
Wow.
And
that's so good, because it's like God said, do you, boo, come back when you're ready to look.
Exactly.
Because all roads lead back to me. I'll be here with
Exactly. And so I'm paying for these classes randomly. I'm taking this class here. I'm like, oh, wait, no, I want to do this. Took this class here. Nope, that's not it. And so I actually went through a time right before getting engaged with my husband where I actually sought out professional counseling, who was also a minister. She was also a minister. And we went through a time of just self-seeking and, expounding on my relationship with God and allowing me to be able to see what I needed to repair in my past and what I needed to be ready for my future. And during that time, I really prayed and I was like, listen, we read that scripture, God will give you the desires of your heart. And we think that he's going to give us what our heart desires. And it's actually backwards. He's going to give us what our heart should desire. And so I'm like, well, I desire my doctorate by 30, so I should have it, right? And she's like, no, not really. You have to ask him what your heart should be desiring. And so I went through that time, and he really changed a lot. And I was like, marketing, no, people don't make money there. Public relations, I don't think that's not where I'm supposed to be. And I've been very successful up until that point. I even took a job with a pay decrease and bought a house. Who does that? How the heck did that happen? But when you align yourself with God, it's like, wow, like I did not find a time where I was begging for bread. I did not find a time where, I just felt so alone. Yes, it was hard, but I still felt his comfort. Yes, it wasn't easy, but I still felt his love. So yeah.
That's so good. That
yeah,
is so
it really
good.
is.
In every area of our life, you're right. We get in the way sometimes because of our dreams, our aspirations, you know. But the key is, and it's been consistent, is being able to surrender that in order to get aligned with the perfect plan. He permits us to do a whole lot of stuff, but aligning ourselves with the perfect plan brings those things that you experience, Jade, the favor of God, you know?
Amen.
And it doesn't make sense to the natural world. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense. Like you said, I got a decrease, but I got a house. But that's what comes with being obedient. When you're obedient, it opens up the doors. And so I'm sure all of you on your journey probably had that. I know, Tasia, with you started out, you wanted to be a chef, a professional chef. And you cooked a lot, which I loved because, you know, I benefited off of that. I still benefit off of that. But somewhere that changed and you desired to become a lawyer. So can you tell us how that flip-flop happened?
Definitely. So, like my mom did say, I did want to be a chef. I loved cooking. I loved anything to do with cooking. I loved, you could ask my mom, we binge watch Food Network for hours. Every show you could think of, we would watch. And I thought that was my path. I was very passionate about it. I was very headstrong. I was like, I'm going to be a chef. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And that's it. And honestly, I could tell you God set me down in those times that I was by myself. And he just told me, and he just showed me a different path for myself. So I am very adamant about justice. I'm very adamant about what's right. And just as you pretty much all know about what's going on in the world right now in the United States, it just also showed me that we need change. And I've always been an advocate for a change. And I've always been a person who would make sure that everyone was okay. And so that passion came out even more than cooking did. And so I really found a passion to become a criminal prosecutor. And I'm really going to do that. Even when I go to college, that's why I'm majoring in political science and that degree. But no, definitely. God, you have a plan for yourself and you think it's the best plan, but then God will come around and be like, hey, I'm glad you like that plan. I'm glad that's what your flesh wanted, but let me tell you what your eyes want for yourself. So definitely it was a shift for me because most people in my family who I told them I wanted to be a chef and then lawyer, they were like, whoa. There's like two different aspects of life. Like how you jump from wanting to cook to wanting to put.
That's all right.
Like,
that's all right.
Make sense. And it didn't make sense to me at first. I just blurted it out one day when everybody was like, hey, what do you want to do? Chef. And then next thing I was like, lawyer. And I was like, wait, I never said that. I never wanted to be a lawyer.
Did I say that? You had an Urkel moment?
And it stuck because now it's beyond a passion for me. It's something I'm really driving for and honestly will definitely be pursuing.
Yeah. And it wasn't such a surprise to me because of this communication, this tongue, this mouth that, you know, we have all these conversations with. And she was really good at debating the things that, you know, she wanted and the reason why she wanted it. And so for me, once she said it, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I know all young girls go through that, but hers had a little extra twist to it. And so God is good. He put all the pieces together. So
that's awesome. That is, I mean, we have to listen. A lot of times, and I guess what you spoke to, Tasia, is a great caveat to, you know, what's going on in the world today, because we get distracted, but COVID-19 is way more than the average distraction. And then the social injustice that's going on now, that has been going on for quite some time, but I think has come to a head now, is another distraction, right? But it is massive. So is it going to halt you in your tracks, or are you going to use it to propel you? And it sounds like, Tasia, you're using it So fortify a decision that you and God made together already.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that probably means the same for you, Jade. I would love to hear from both the Jades really on your take on what's going on today and how that's impacted your last few months and few weeks, really, for next steps in your life and just how you're doing with everything.
I guess I can go since backers and bachelors. For me, I think I'll start with first with COVID and then kind of grow. For me, it was with COVID, it's I took it serious, but everybody else around me, around my age, didn't take it serious. So it kind of made me doubt of the things that I'm doing. And then it kind of made me second guess a lot of things. And I think it also made me do more self-reflect than anything else, because it was a reminder that not every day is promised. Not, you're not guaranteed to wake up the next day, as we have seen. And so, make sure you choose whatever path you do after college is something that you want to do. And I think kind of like what you were saying, Jay, God's kind of funny like that. It's he's been giving me these hints, but I think it just didn't happen. Just didn't hit me till now until I realized God was kind of you've been trying to do a lot of things, which is great. It shows how much you are a character, but I'm noticing it's not what I have in store for you, and it's not something you want to do. So it's time for you to figure out what you want to do, what your passion is, and not what looks great and what everybody around you wants you to do. Yeah. And so, originally I was I want to be an ambassador, a diplomat. I'm there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's the idea of what that will look like for me to be a woman of color, to be an ambassador. I think the idea of it, but I come to realize, especially I've always known about those social injustices that happen, but I think now that with COVID, we are forced, for me, I knew about it, but other people are now forced to look at it, because you're at home, so there's nothing to watch besides going on social media. So now people are forced to do something about it. And so for me, it's I can go abroad and help, but there's still more issues at home that I know needs to be fixed. Yeah. And maybe this is where I need to be at this moment. So it's just a lot of a wake-up call. I think for me, it's now it's time to be, okay, what can I do? What can I do in this gap time? What can I do despite COVID, despite these additional obstacles? Now I got to look at it as a blessing in time. It's time for me to sit down. It's time for me to have these conversations. I think with just several injustices, with several shootings and killings of our community, it now has opened the doors for people who don't look like us, who are willing to reach out. I've had people from the Asian community who's you know what, let's talk about it. What are your thoughts about it? And I was so I've been mentioning this for a couple of years, and this happened. Now you're asking me, and I have this one friend. She texted me. She was what, how do you feel with people, starting to notice? And I was well, it depends on who you're asking, on who's noticing. I've always noticed, so it hasn't started to be noticed, but it's now opening the conversation to other people who don't look like me. And so for she was I never thought about that, and I was even some of us could protest, which I think is an amazing thing. Some of us are unable to do that. But I think the best thing is have a conversation and then have actions behind that conversation. Right. And that's something I think God has kind of pushed me to realize, you need to have that conversation with people in your inner circle in order to make a difference with the gifts and skills I have given you.
So
that's
good.
Awesome, Jade. That is so good.
Really good.
That's so good. Really Jade, good. What do you want to share about the same? That was so good.
Yeah, I think, there's many levels to it. For someone who is originally from New York, COVID hit me pretty personally, pretty quickly. And being in a city where I was still going to work, my husband was still going to work at the time, and I had close friends, family members who were diagnosed, and those who lost their parents and grandparents. It hit me very quickly, and it was tough when you're going to work and a lot of people don't, like Jade said, take it seriously or are not being impacted the way you are. So I think I started that transition very quickly emotionally. And then once having to go home and work from home and the isolation, I felt it as isolation. We don't have any children. My husband is an essential worker, so I'm home all day, working from home. And I had to, re-tailor my thinking and reconstruct the way that I was living my day-to-day life. And so then once I felt like, okay, I'm into the groove thing, and things started to shift again, and things started to happen in our everyday lives for people of color. And I was like, okay, Lord, what are you doing now?
Right.
I think my graduation was coming up, my birthday was coming up, my husband's birthday was coming up, my wedding anniversary, literally back to back. And I'm a big celebratory type of individual, and I was like, big party here, cookout here, guess not, all right. And so I had to, go into my prayer closet and figure out what God needed from me, because I was very emotionally uneasy. And so I went through some stages of grief where I was feeling for those who were suffering through COVID and through the injustices, but I was also feeling a little guilty because I had these things going on in my life that I wanted to celebrate, that I wanted to post, that I wanted people to be happy for with me.
That's so good. Yeah.
I felt like, okay, wait, do I post this? Do I not say
conflict? Yeah.
Do I not repost what's going on because I work in a office where maybe it's me and one other African American? Do I not say this? And so I went through a lot of that. Yeah. And then, God sat me down and said, well, remember first, you're a Christian. And so I had to pull back from some of the things that I was reposting and some of the conversations that I was having, because, there's a lot of people out there advocating. There's a lot of people on that side on either side, but there's really people that have to stand in the middle and say, okay, yes, this is wrong. Yes, I'm not for the looting. I'm not for the this. I'm not for that. But at the end of the day, love is real. God is real. And we have to make sure that we're honing into that. And so I'm having difficult conversations with both parties saying, you can't speak to people that way. Yes, you're right. This is injustice, but you can't say this. Or speaking to other people saying, you are the privileged and you do need to stand up. And so I think it's been a little emotionally draining, and I've had to refuel myself and have that balance of, I'm going to post my graduation pictures because I'm proud of myself, but I'm also going to post this because this is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's so good. And it's such a real depiction of the emotional roller coaster that has come with, COVID, with which we fell in that same boat, all of us. How do you celebrate, in the midst of everything that's going on? Now we're doing virtual Zoom graduation parties or graduations.
Jade had one.
Yes. And so I think you brought up a very valid point as far as being a believer. At the end of the day, we do have to be careful how much intake we have because it will have an influence on you. And bitterness and resentment and all of those things can begin to filter, in your heart. And you're right, Jade. We have to constantly go back to Christ because he modeled it. The same thing that is happening today is what happened to him. He was ostracized, he was treated unjustly. He was beaten, all of those things. And not saying, not taking away from, what's going on now, saying, well, we need to be like Jesus, but we do. However, we cannot do that without consistently tapping in because of this flesh, because of our humanness. And so I think that just was a really good point. I know Tanya and I have had conversations and we've had to reel ourselves in because you're right. When we think about community, I think about my community is a variety of ethnicities. And I know Tanya's is, and I know Tasia's is, and I know yours is. And so we do have to be careful not to put everyone in the same bucket. But also at the same time, we have to stand up for what is right and do it in a way that still honors God. So that was amazing.
Yeah, it's real powerful that we have a place where you can go, and even if it's not this platform,
Yeah.
like you mentioned earlier, Jade, your inner circle and having that conversation, having that place to go, it's really important, especially for you guys now as you're taking these steps. You know, it's not going to change. I'm here to tell you that when you get to my number, which is going up at the end of the month, or you get to Miss Benisha's number, you're
Climbing.
still going to be, yeah, you're going to be planning, you're going to be adjusting your vision statement, you know, but I always talk about checking in with daddy, but you should most definitely have an inner circle where you can go and be your true authentic self
Yes.
and share with people, because when you internalize that emotional roller coaster, it doesn't help. It actually can result in physical illness, and mental distress. So it's so important that you have that inner circle. And
So true.
I know, Jade, for you, Jade Morris, you said, you know, you have an outstanding relationship with your husband, and then you have a woman's ministry and things that you do. So you have places to put things, right? And I know, Jade, you do as well. Nisha and I do. I know Tasia does. It's so important to have a sister circle.
Absolutely.
It really is.
And you know what has been burning in my heart just for the last few minutes is that God is so amazing that he would give us a platform in the midst of everything that's going on to display another side of even African Americans, you know, well educated, well communicated, well traveled individuals to say, you know, that despite what's going on, there's still purpose and there's still plans, and lives do matter. And God is
We still rise.
We're
Yes.
still rising, and God is doing great things even in the midst of everything that's going on. And you ladies are essential. You know, what you're doing is essential, you know, not allowing the noise and the chaos and the negativity to distract you, as Tanya was talking about earlier, from the purpose really that God has for you. And it's not just to make a difference in African Americans' lives, it's to make a difference worldwide. And so
yes.
I just want to commend each one of you for staying focused. And as you said, little Jade, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fumble, you're going to stumble, but you still have to make the choice to get back up. And so I'm just excited. It makes me excited to have a platform that we can show positivity. We can show that, you know, we are a people who, I think Jade said it in her biography, is that she's a life learner. So it's not just about the master's degree. It's not about the college or just the high school experience. It's about being open, which all of us need to be in this season, to learning about whatever it is we need so that we can make better choices, better decisions, and be in a place where we can breed unity, even when we don't understand. So it's powerful.
It is very powerful. Jade, it looked like you had wanted to share something, Jade. Jade Morris? No. Okay. Well, what I would love to hear from you guys, because I can't believe we're almost out of time already.
Yeah.
But if you could drop a pearl for somebody coming behind you, what would that be? And ironically, each of you are actually stair-stepped, so the person behind you might catch the pearl you throw tonight. But, you know, please share. I think, what would you like to leave everyone with? Let's start with Tasia. Go first, honey.
Throw it out there. High school, man. Definitely make your own experience. Don't base anything off of anyone else. I definitely made that mistake. I struggle with my identity a lot just because I did that. I wasn't true to myself. I wanted to fit into the groups. I wanted to make sure that I had those cool friends, the friends that, everyone wanted to be with. And I would just say, definitely stick to yourself. You might have those lonely moments, and that's okay, because those are going to make you stronger, and they're going to show you who you truly need to be friends with. And God will definitely push you towards those people. And also just have fun. Embrace every second of it, because when they say high school flies, they literally meant high school flies. It is 4 years, but I could tell you in a blink of an eye, it was finished for me. And that's not only just because I was home, but no, literally it does. And definitely stay true to yourself and stand strong for what you want and how you feel. So don't be quiet on anything in class. Don't not raise your hand because you're thinking, hey, what are they going to think if I say that? Or, that doesn't really go into what we believe, or that's not even really what we're talking about. But definitely make a stance for yourself. Make an impact that's not only going to affect you when you're there, but make an impact for when you leave, that people are still going to talk about you and be like, well, that teacher's gonna be like, well, remember that kid, or you remember that kid and how they did that. And then when they see you grow up, they're gonna be like, see, she actually, or he actually did something that I knew they were gonna do, because they were different from everyone else.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah, really good.
Oof,
That's good.
Wish I had that advice when I was in high school. I think that would have helped me out a lot.
But now you get to pass your wisdom on. So now that's your wisdom that you get to pass on.
When you really said high school flies by, college absolutely, at least for your bachelor's, goes so quick. Like, I still, to this day, I talk to my room, and I remember first, moving in, and we're like, okay, this is gonna be our space for the next year. So that goes by real quick. For me, would have to be, I would have to say that I have learned that, this might sound so weird, but thank your failures. Be blessed with your mistakes, because it makes you stronger, and it makes you show what type of character you are. So that means you're willing to take risk, and you are willing to go on that edge. And if you do fail, you have God to be there to carry you and take you to the next steps. Someone once told me, I think I have it on the board. Oh yeah. It's like no means a opportunity to learn. And what that means is that when you get in college, sometimes you're going to apply for programs and scholarships, and you might get rejected. But sometimes there's so much you can learn being rejected. Doesn't mean they're rejecting who you are as a person. It just means God said that wasn't that program for you, that wasn't that internship for you, or that wasn't the group that you need to be around with. So it just means that, there's more improvement, but it just means that it just wasn't meant for you. But it doesn't mean you can't take risks. Continue to take lots of risk. And another thing is, like, it's okay to ask for help. I think there's the stigma around not only college students, but just stigma of, like, students of color, just young people, that they have to do everything on their own, or when they're down, or when they're grieving, or when they're feeling like they can't do it anymore, that they just have to stick it out. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. And I think for me, it took a longer time up to like the point where I was like, this is the end. Like, I am like down on my knees. I can't do it anymore. That I realized, like, asking for help does not make you weak. It makes you strong, because you're willing to know that you need the help and you can't lift yourself back up. So it's okay to do that. It's okay to reach out for counseling. I think there's just so much stigma behind it. But I learned more about counseling, more about my spiritual growth, talking to a counselor, and then also talking to a spiritual counselor, talking to friends who give you counseling and advice. I think there's nothing wrong with that. You definitely have to learn it's okay to ask for help. If you ask for help when you have a bad grade with professors, then why can't you ask your friends for help when you don't know something about it? Or why can't you ask your parents for help when you feel like you might make a wrong decision? So definitely, it's okay to ask for help. It makes you stronger. And just realize that college is beautiful, but also realize there is life after college. So when you make those mistakes, when you get up to that point, just realize, you know what? That was my past chapter. Now I'm looking to my next. Like, just like Jade said, like, she's a lifetime learning. College just gives you the foundations to learn. So when you get out the real world, you continue to do that. And there's just so much beauty about it. And you're going to change. And it's okay. Change is good. Change is great. But as long as you become the core values of yourself and you remain the core values that God has given each of us as a gift, then you'll be fine. Just trust in your gut, but really trust in what God has in plan for you. If you question it, look back and just ask for help.
Yeah.
That's the best advice I can get.
So good.
That was so good. You guys, you too. I feel bad for Jade M because she got to follow the two of you. I'm like, what?
Follow up with that.
I know, girl. Speak some wisdom.
My words of advice, as you guys said, high school flies, college flies, the best 4 years of your life. Man, hands down. But I think once you leave those times of your life that are very structured, and the people around you tend to be doing the same things as you, you're getting up, going to class, going to the caf, going back home, getting up, going to exactly. I think what you need to remember to do is once God speaks to you, write it down, make it plain, and pray on it. You're going to leave high school, leave college, and enter into a world where your friends are going to be different ages. They're going to be having babies, getting married, buying houses, getting new degrees. You're all going to be doing so many different things, and you're going to now be juggling so many different things that I remember going through like 2 or 3 years of my life. I'm like, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be doing that? And God's like, I need you to focus. I need you to remember who I am, and I need you to because this ain't for you. And so I tell my friends all the time, once he speaks and he makes his voice clear, write it down, make it plain, and pray on it. It will help you to avoid a lot of hurt, harm, and danger. It will help you to avoid a lot of financial, emotional, spiritual mistakes. Yes, mistakes are great things, and these are tests that you're going to have to go through, but some of them we bring on ourselves. Yeah. And so, just for the rest of life, I abide by that. Once he tells me something, it may not be for right now, but I'm going to write it down. I'm going to pray on it. He's not a God that you can't ask him why, when, or how. But he is a God of order. So, he wants to make sure that you are in order and that you are being diligent. So once you live in that time of your life where things are pretty structured for you, it's going to be very key that you are staying focused, you're staying in his word, and staying in the place that you are supposed to be, no matter what life is going on around you or what people's lives are going on around you, because it's going to change very quickly, and you're going to look back and be like, wow, we used to be on the same page and now we are two different people. Or, I used to have this type of friends, or I used to work for this type of company. And so it changes drastically. So, yeah.
That's so phenomenal. Yeah, really. I don't know about Benicia, but I'm ready to go back to high school and then college and get my master's.
Oh my God.
Just because of the three of you.
Tanya, I was just thinking the same exact thing. Like,
they're so wise, right?
Yes. And even though we're sitting in a more seasoned, that's the word I like to use. So even though we're sitting in a more seasoned seat, what I recognize is that the things that they said follows us throughout a lifetime. So you're always going to be in a place where God is stretching you and speaking to you, and depending on your obedience is going to breed, the blessing. So it's so amazing to see, whether you're in high school, whether you're in college and your bachelor's, or whether you're in your master's, the common thread I hear is really keeping your relationship with God as the center, so you can hear, what those next steps are, who you should be connected to, who you shouldn't be connected to. Even when you fall down, how he's so gracious to pick us back up, dust us off, and say, hey, it's okay. It's a part of your testimony. It's something that you're going to be able to tell somebody else. And guess what? Right here are 3 testimonies. So high school, no matter what she went through, now she's on her way to college. You, college, bachelor's degree. No matter what you went through, guess what? You made it. And now here's Jade, master's degree, and no matter what she went through, made it. But the common thread is faith, and the common thread is God. And even for this podcast and for us, common thread that whoever is watching this, no matter if you're dealing with the pandemic, no matter if you're concerned about what's going on, in the United States concerning, racial injustice. No matter where you find yourself, we're here to share that with God, you can conquer any season of your life.
Yes. All things. Ladies, I want to say thank you so much. That's so good, Venetia. It's, just having you here to share your stories with us.
Yeah.
And
powerful.
God saw fit for it to work out the way it did, and for each of you to feed the other.
Yeah.
And Venetia and I are happy to, be mentors for you as you pursue your journey. I'm just so honored that you chose to sit with us tonight and have a real conversation.
Absolutely.
And thank you so, so very much for that. Can you guys share? I believe you guys are in Instagram land, right? Can you each share your name? Is that what they call it? Your Instagram tag? What do they call it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I remember mine.
You don't remember yours?
She doesn't remember. Jade, yours is Sweet Jade something, right?
Yeah, it's Sweetie Jadey. So it's SWEETYJADEY.
Okay. And that way people can reach out. Go for it. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and mine is simply as told by Jade _.
You said it's simply.
Oh no, it's as told by Jade _.
Oh.
And we'll get you Tasia.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Figure it out.
Yes, we'll get you Tasia's. But thank you so much. And for everyone out there, I hope that you got a little bit of something, because I tell you what, I'm a couple decades ahead, and I got blessed tonight by the wisdom in this room. So thank you for joining us. Please do share this. So we have a lot of graduates walking around right now that are trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
And this may actually be a blessing to them. Yeah. So thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you,
Be
ladies.
blessed.
2020.
Bye, y'all.
Job well done, ladies.
Yes.
Well done.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm about to pass out. Literally, I can't.